Okay, welcome back, friends. Today we're going to cover a special topic, which is the power of curses. So, a lot of people have asked me about curses and curse instructions, and I think what I want to do is have this be part one of several videos on cursing and the philosophy behind it and the obviously instructions. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go over some basic principles about cursing that I think are important based on my knowledge and experience of it. um, I've had other people do curses for me, like VK Jahannam, just so that I could see what it is that's different between my energy and someone else's energy, and it really is amazing the difference from person to person. So I think the first thing we need to talk about when it comes to curses is we need to talk about making sure that you are prepared to do the curse. And what I mean by that is you need to purify and you need to consecrate everything that you're going to use for your curse so that you're setting the energy for cursing. So if you have a stone that you normally would use for healing or banishing, if it also has the property of doing damage, you can charge that stone with that energy, if that makes sense. So in the last video I did, we talked about demon water. Now, the cool thing about the demon water is it really is uh, can be tuned to whatever purpose you want. So all you need to do is make a goetic symbol, and hopefully it's a spirit that specializes in vengeance, as that's the whole point of a curse, is getting back at someone. Put it under the bottle or into the bottle of water that is purified. Chant your demonic ends over it, chant your invocation over it, basically call that spirit into that water, and your voice will vibrate the proper uh, energy into that water, because water can be charged with any intention. So there is a recipe for war water, which is part of the Hoodoo faith, and it's very effective. So this is a huge subject with lots and lots of nuances, and there's just a few things that I think are important as far as taking this upon yourself to do an actual curse. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. So I guess the first question you ask yourself, or a lot of people will ask themselves, is has this target, this individual, done something worthy of a curse? Now that is ethics that is purely up to you, because you're the one that has determined this person is guilty. So by that alone, you are already passing judgment on this person and filling in as the intermediary to um, give them a taste of their own medicine, so to speak, or whatever they've done. So let's talk about the most potent curse that I know of, and that's the death curse. Now, there's various ways that you can ask for someone's death or try to encourage a death by a curse, but it's really not. Let's put it this way: unless the individual is a murderer or pedophile, or someone who has raped a loved one, or someone who has done something so wicked that it calls for that, you're going to have a hard time killing them, because in order to kill someone with magic in that style, you have to have the same vengeance in your heart that you would for if you were going to kill them in real life. You really have to want it, and you really have to intend on that being the end result. Otherwise, you'll get varied results. Probably they will be stricken with illness or get in a horrible accident or something like that, but it does not necessarily mean that they will die. And in fact, in certain cases, I would say people that I have actually physically cursed end up suffering a much worse fate than you could even imagine, especially if you leave it open to the spirits that you're working with, or if you have a very specific thing that you want to happen. For example, just recently I made a little promise with a certain spirit that if he would eliminate a certain individual, that I would tattoo their symbol upon my forearm. So when and if that happens, uh, that's how I would justify that. So, if a spirit's going to do something like that for me, they deserve to be honored for the rest of my life for eliminating such an enemy. So, obviously, you can't tattoo your whole body with symbols every time someone does something, but if it's a spirit that you work with on a regular basis who's done a lot for you and you have a relationship with, like the spirits that I put on my body, it's because I've worked with them for a long time and I know that they aren't going to do anything but help me. And if there is a hard lesson to be learned, then it's going to be because they choose to do so at that time, and I will learn from it later. So I'm willing to take the good and the bad of using dark energy, which brings me to my next comment, which is, let's say that you do. Well, let me just go back to my own experience. Let's say that on a whim, and this is a true story, on a whim, when I was a child, an individual that's very close to me in the family uh, said something to me that hurt my feelings. And this was kind of an ongoing thing with this individual. And I felt that at the age of 7, that it was my responsibility to teach this person a lesson. And before I knew anything about magic, I already was being given this, what would you call it, premonition that I had some sort of talent for this. So this is back probably, I want to say in the early 80s. Um, this individual was pissing me off, and I didn't appreciate the neglect that they had for me. So long story short, I called upon the devil and I asked for this person to die. Now, because I don't know anything about magic at the time, I just said out loud, uh, as if in a prayer to Satan, please eliminate this person, kill this person, whatever I said. Well, about a week later, this person did almost die in a tragic, uh, horrible accident. Um, and what this did is this person still lived, and it's a good thing they did, because this curse changed this person. It humbled them. It took their ego down to a level of rationale and made them reevaluate their life. So they're still alive, living well, but they suffered unbelievable pain and unbelievable suffering due to my lack of emotional control. So what I'm getting at is, if you do have that power, do know that when it does work, if it does happen and you do get what you want, you may very well regret it, because let's put it this way, if your intentions are pure, you will get what you want. But how and when and what and how it will affect you remains to be seen. So, for example, this individual who was very close to me and who I depended upon uh, is now handicapped. So, as a result, I spent many years suffering along with this individual, as they were someone that took care of me. So, to put it lightly, when it comes to curses, you just need to make your fucking mind up. And if you're going to do it, do it. If you're not going to do it, then don't fuck with it, because it isn't a game. You really can fuck people up. And by the way, don't think for 1 minute that saying prayers to Christ or any other God is exactly a protection against curse. I had a very stupid and arrogant individual I work with made the comment in front of me because they suspect that I'm a witch. I'm covered in the blood of Christ. That stuff doesn't work on me. Well, this bitch's life has been turned into a fucking nightmare ever since. And she did something that she fully deserved to be cursed for. Not killed, but definitely punished. Definitely taught a lesson. And this bitch is still getting the fucking full blast of it and she's still not fucking learning. So, as you could imagine, there's only one thing to do with someone like that: fucking ignore them. Anyway, those are just the kind of things that can happen. Now, there was another situation where I cursed 3 people at one time. One of them suffered, the other 2 did not. I came to find out later while working with Carrie that the reason it didn't work is because the spirits I was employing to help were actually protecting this individual because they did not like me using them for such a thing. And those are lessons you learn along the way. It's complicated. It's not, the results are complicated because we don't know how it's going to happen. You know, if you're specific, which I recommend you be specific. So, death curse. What do you want? You want this person dead. How would you like them to die? Natural causes, heart attack, car accident, choke to death on a sandwich, take poison and commit suicide, put a gun to their head. You need to be specific because the more specific you are, the more rewarding it will be later. Magical murder is a topic that I want to actually create a book about because it's going to talk about my experiences and also the tragic nature of what we're doing, which is if you're pushed to this point where you have to use your power to eliminate someone, it's done with a sense of, I don't want to say guilt, but I would definitely say responsibility. That you need to take responsibility for whatever it is you're going to do. And that's all I'm going to say on that subject because morals and ethics are not my cup of tea. So, criteria for a curse. Again, did this person kill someone? Did this person rape someone? Did this person steal everything you've owned? Did this person hurt you? Did this person put you or a friend in a wheelchair? Did someone you know get raped to death by this person? I think those are good criteria for the death curse. Now, lesser curses, let's call them hexes. Those are a whole different story. So, very simple. Get a jar, clean it, purify it, consecrate it, make sure that it's just for this curse. Go get you some graveyard dirt. Use your instinct. Pull it from a grave that you feel is a person with a dark intentions. Let the spirits speak to you. Pull dirt from a graveyard. Leave a handful of coins there as an offering. Turn around, don't look back. When you get your jar and you get your dirt, put your dirt in there. Now, the jar spells are cool because you can combine a number of elements into a jar, and that's pretty much what the curse consists of. So, if you have their signature, you can put it in a bottle, put a little graveyard dirt in it, find yourself a Black Widow, put the Black Widow in. What are you doing? What's the point of that? What do those items do? Well, obviously, graveyard dirt is charged with the energy of death. The vibration from the dead comes up through the soil, enchanting it with the energy of death, which is essentially the energy of change. So, decay, rot. Take animal bones that are decaying, throw it in there. You got a dead mouse, throw it in there. What you're trying to do is you're trying to create a negative energy field around this person via the link of their signature. It could be a copy of their signature. If you don't have their signature, get a hold of something very personal to them. A pair of their reading glasses, something that's very dear to them, lock of their hair, something that they've put in their mouth that has their saliva on it. These will create links for the spirits to attach to, because what the spirits and the energy will want to do is to essentially latch onto and suck the energy from your victim and install new, darker energy into them. So what will happen is they will become more clumsy. They may fall down the stairs. They may have a broken arm. Their dog might attack them. The sky's the limit. That's why I'm saying, if you're squeamish, don't bother with this kind of magic, because it does work. I have a propensity for it, and I've worked curses in any number of ways. Um, but those are just some food for thought ideas. So I know this is going to be one hell of a long video series, but I think it's important because I think you guys need to get some information on this and understand the whole point of it. There are some books that I recommend for cursing. S. Connolly has a book on cursing that is phenomenal, and it covers everything. Yes, cursing also is a family or related to the subject of creating different cursing powders. This isn't curse powder, this is just regular incense, but you can make cursing powders out of graveyard dirt, uh, herbs, spices, other ingredients, blood, you name it. Okay. So those are just some ideas. Now, if I was going to do a very simple curse, here's exactly how I do it. So let's just go ahead and see if we can zoom in here on my writing. Keep in mind, this is not a professional curse. This is purely an example. So there are 3 symbols that I like to use for a curse. The reversed pentagram. What does it represent? It represents Azazel and many other things, but in this case we're using Azazel because Azazel is the scapegoat. And essentially what you're doing is you're casting energy onto this person. So this person is going to suffer as an Azazel would suffer, meaning this person is now going to become the scapegoat of your rage. So at your 5 points, you can also install, usually I do it in Hebrew writing, the name of 5 demons that you think are capable of creating the energy you want for this person. So let's say it's Lucifer, Belial, Lucifer, Drofakel. Let's go ahead and put Leviathan. And then at the top, we're going to put Shaitan. Okay. So that's my sigil. Those are the demon names. Not what I would normally do. But then what I'm going to do, and usually I do this before this, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to put the name of the individual into the center of this. So let's just say it's Karen. It seems to be a popular person name to hate nowadays. I don't know why. No relation. If you're a friend named Karen, it has nothing to do with you. It's just an example. You're laying this symbol upon their name. And one of the things I will do, because now these spirits are involved, they need energy to do the work. So what am I going to do? Again, let's consecrate this. So we're going to take our incense, we're going to light it on our coal, we're going to have our smoke going, and you're going to fumigate this piece of paper with your cursing incense. Now, cursing incenses are cool because if you create a cursing incense, the energy from that incense will go right into your sigil. So that's a whole other video. Again, this is a huge, huge, deep concept because it's basically up to the limits of your imagination. So now that you've consecrated and created your sigil, I like to put the person's name in Hebrew. Hebrew seems just like it takes away the little click in your mind of seeing their name and you just know that it's their name, if that makes any sense. It makes it more metaphorical to you, and it makes it more of a symbol when you put the names in a different language like Greek or Hebrew. The Hebrew alphabet has extreme magical power, so that is exactly why I use it. Same thing with Latin, same thing with Greek. There's another symbol, which is basically this symbol, which is a cross with a figure 8 around it. I know you know what I'm talking about. It's basically the Leviathan cross. So, okay. The other symbol I use a lot is the triangle. As you know, the triangle is the manifestation triangle. It is the triangle of creation. It is the triangle of manifestation. So what am I going to do? I'm going to put 3 names, 1, 2, 3, of my choice, spirits that I want to work with, who are skilled in vengeance and suffering. Then in the center, guess what I'm going to put? The name of the victim. This is actually the most simple and effective way to curse someone. Okay? Do the demon names in Hebrew. Put their name in there in Hebrew. Prick your finger. Anoint it with blood. Now they have the energy to do the work. Let's take it a step further. Now we're going to take our consecrated and very powerful sigil. Blow your breath into it. And as you breathe out, take several breaths, breathe directly onto the paper, and charge it with your breath, with the energy of heat, suffering, sickness. Picture the energy coming out of your body being black, so that it's like smoke. One of the cool things I like to do is take a cigarette or something that you can blow smoke with, and then blow that cursed smoke onto your sigil, because you're now pretending like this is that person. So this is a representative of that person who's now getting fucked. Just to show you how far I'll go, I made a special consecrated jar. It actually has the sigils in it from my demon water creation. And I'm going to say, okay, assholes, now I'm putting you in a dark room with the spirits of vengeance. I'm going to close this lid. And by the way, what is this jar doing? This jar is blocking all light. You're now putting your victim into total darkness. You can put anything else in here that you think will make them uncomfortable. You want to put dead insects. You want to put something that smells horrible, preferably something that's been burnt, that's charred, that smells like I don't know what. You can urinate, defecate, use your imagination. I don't like playing too much with body fluids. It's not really my thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put special sigils on here that represent spirits of vengeance, and then this is basically going to be a cursing jar. I also use this jar just as something to light something on fire and then burn the sigil. What am I going to do? I'm going to leave this in darkness for as long as I feel that it needs, and use my instinct. And then when I feel that the curse is charged enough with my energy and they essentially have gotten a little taste and it's starting to manifest, then I'm going to take out my sigil. I'm going to thank the spirits, and I'm going to burn my cursed paper and put the ashes in here. Now here's the important thing that you can do that really makes this curse stick. I'm assuming the person that you're wanting to hurt with the curse is someone you know. So what you need to do is take the ashes that have set here in darkness that you have consecrated, put them in a little pouch or a little bottle, a little medicine bottle, something small. Grind them up, make sure it's powdered. Okay. Next time you see this person or you're around their general area, you can sprinkle this ash from this curse around their desk onto a piece of paper. You can smear the ashes on the pen they use. You can dump it into the backseat of their car. You can also, very important, and this is traditional magic, I'm not making this up, take the sigil that has been burned, take that ash and put it where you know they will walk into it. Because anointing their feet with this ash is going to make everything they do moving forward cursed. And it puts the energy directly on them. So with a good curse, what you want is you want your enemy to have direct contact with the actual curse itself. That's why the ashes are great, because they reveal nothing. So if I saw some black soot on something I used, I'd probably just go, what the hell, knock it off, and that'd be it. So it works really well, guys. Again, I do not condone or inspire anyone to do anything stupid. I don't believe that you need to hurt animals. I don't believe in any of that stuff, just because for me personally, it's not something I would enjoy doing. And whatever I got out of it inevitably wouldn't be worth it to me to just see the random suffering of creatures. Now, you know, if I had to kill a frog or maybe a bird, that's one thing. But dogs, cats, sheep, goat, you know, come on. I killed a snake in the backyard and that bothered me. So I'm an animal lover. If you want to use animal parts, that's again your call. I make no judgment. For me, I do not personally fuck with animals. So anyway, I hope this was a good starter session for giving you a good couple of ideas of what you can do to curse. You know, the subject is very vast. I recommend S. Connolly's book on cursing. You can find it on Amazon. It's around $17. And, you know, the demon water, simple. You can use it just as it is. Put the sigil in the water, charge it. Once you see your pal, dump a little demon water in their coffee cup. I don't know. It's up to you. Getting them as close as they can to having contact with the cursed items is exactly what you want. Now, there's only one last thing that I think is worth mentioning, which is this. Once you have performed the curse, however you plan on performing it, try as hard as you can to let go of your hate, your rage, your disgust with this individual. Let the curse do its work. I recommend, when you are done, taking some of those ashes from your curse and taking it to a special spot in maybe a field or even a graveyard is great. I've buried the implements from a curse in a graveyard, because what it is doing is it is putting that person in the graveyard. You're putting them to rest. You're putting the issues, everything. A curse is a lot of psychology in it. The curse is something you're doing to rid yourself of the evil you've suffered from this person. And essentially what you're doing is you're asking the universe to give them that energy back. I'm not sure if that makes a lot of sense. It's a complicated issue. I don't know what else to say. All I'm going to say is have fun with your curses. Make motherfuckers pay. And dark blessings, my friends. Part 2 will be much more in depth, and I'll do some actual physical examples where you can see me doing a curse, and it won't be so off the cuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your subscriptions. Dark blessings.